Friends, we are going to begin the services now. If everyone will have a seat, please.
Good.
We're going to be running. Remember Billy?
I see you guys are really still stuff for her, right? It's my brain.
We are going to begin the funeral service for Mrs. Harriet Weinstein. If you have a cell phone, I'd ask you kindly to place it in the silent mode at this time or turn it completely off. I'd also like to welcome everybody via live stream. On behalf of the family, thank you for attending as well. Services will be conducted by Rabbi Lisa Bellows of Congregation Beth Am in Buffalo Grove.
Harriet lived a full and long life. And so while we come here together to say goodbye to Harriet, we are here also to celebrate her life. For Harriet's love that united us in life, which death cannot sever, for her companionship that we shared along life's path, and which continues through the tenderness of memory, for the gifts of her heart and mind that brought us joy and happiness and is now a precious remembrance. For all these and more, we give thanks. Times like this, we offer words from our psalmist, King David, who was a man who struggled with issues of life and loss, and also of love and death. You have the 23rd Psalm in the inside cover of the leaflet. I'll offer part of the Psalm in Hebrew, and we'll join together in the English. Adonai ro'i lo echsar, Binot desha yarbitzeni, almei menachot yenachaleni. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, but life is a journey, a going, a growing from stage to stage, from childhood to maturity and youth to age, from innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion, and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength, or strength to weakness, and often back again, from health to sickness, and back we pray to health again, from offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion, and grief to understanding, from fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat, until looking backwards or ahead, we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, but life is a journey made stage by stage, from birth to death and to life everlasting. And in the book of Ecclesiastes, we read that there's a time to keep silent and there's a time to speak. So to share words and memories from their hearts, I invite up first Harriet's daughter Sherry, and then her daughter Debbie, and then her daughter Caro, and representing the grandchildren who will speak after Caro, Erin and Brynn.
Thank you all so much for being here to honor our mother, Harriet Weinstein. My mom was a woman of great integrity. She was extremely ethical and the most honest person I ever have known. I do have to tell you, sometimes people did not always appreciate that honesty. And that's the truth. She was someone you could always count on to keep her word. If she said she was going to do something for you or take you somewhere, she always followed through, and she always kept her promises. My mom was totally trustworthy. She'd never repeat something that someone asked her to keep private. Anyone's secrets would be safe with her. My mom and I shared many likings of the same thing. As the oldest, the other kids would be in bed. My father worked nights, so my mom and I would stay up late watching old movies because my mother loved to watch Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, any kind of musicals. And then while we were watching the movies, she would make herself some white bread and onion sandwiches. I didn't ever understand that, but that's what she enjoyed. We liked to read the same kind of books, and she and I were very big fans of Amy Tan novels. So what would happen usually is I would get a book, and my mother would just, after I read it, she would read it so we could discuss it. But one part of the book in the Joy Luck Club, and there was also a movie, and this was also in the movie, was a mom and daughter were talking, and the mom says to the daughter, "You are best quality." And after that, I always remember thinking that it was actually my mom that was best quality. Sometimes in the summer, I just want to tell this one story. Sometimes in the summer, we lived in Morton Grove. There would be men that would come around. They'd get off the train and just walk and come around our block. And at that time, they were called hobos. I don't know if that's the politically correct expression anymore, but that's what they were called. And they would knock on doors, and then they would see if they could earn some money by, if you had any extra jobs for them. And my mother always found jobs for whoever knocked on her door. And then after they did whatever little job she found for them, she would sit them at her kitchen table. She prepared a meal for them. Even though, money was tight with our family at that time, she prepared a meal, and she always paid them cash for their work. She did that many, many summers when they came around. She never turned any of them away. My mom was a big fan of Eleanor Roosevelt. She told me that she would read anything Eleanor Roosevelt wrote. So I'm going to have a quote. I'm going to read a quote that I have from Eleanor Roosevelt. Many people will walk in and out of your life, but only true friends will leave a footprint in your heart. My mom is leaving us with memories that will never die. Mommy will always leave a footprint in my heart.
I am so going to miss my mom. About a year ago, when my mom was hospitalized, her heart doctor told me she was very weak, and he didn't think she was going to make it. I looked at him and thought about it for a moment, and he asked me if I heard what he said. I had heard him, but I knew my mom well, and my mom had recently told me she wanted to be around for 3 more events: her August of 2021 birthday, the birth of her grandchild expected last September, which turned out to be Willow, 9 months old now, and her and our dad's 74th wedding anniversary last November, in that order. Well, she not only made it for all 3 events, but she lived to almost see another birthday, just 1 month shy of her 97th. It wasn't always easy, but our mom was a fighter. She was brave. She cared deeply for her family and friends and was a role model for all of us. In this bonus year of her life, though fighting health issues, she enjoyed reading, playing piano, especially waltzes, going to weekly bingo games at the Buffalo Grove Senior Center, where she was quite lucky. But most of all, she enjoyed many, 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 many family celebrations. That's what she loved best, spending time with her family. Let me tell you that my mom loved going to parties. It was one of my favorite things about her. As one party was over, she was already asking about the next one. One fond memory I have is from my childhood. It was my mom's birthday, and she decided to have a come-as-you-are party in the middle of the day. She told us to go and invite our friends. It was really Carol and me because my brother and sister were being older, but it was Carol and I. She told us to go and invite our friends from the block to her come-as-you-are party. So my mother celebrated her adult birthday with the neighborhood kids, something that brings a smile to my face whenever I think about it. I also remember how special she always made us feel on our birthdays. But one special holiday in particular that my mom and all of us especially look forward to each year was Thanksgiving. That's because of our yearly family talent show. Each year after dinner, we displayed our talents, so we thought. From playing an instrument, doing magical tricks, putting on a puppet show, exhibiting dance routines, singing, telling jokes, or reading a poem written by a grandchild, just to name a few. Almost everyone participated, including my mom, who always played piano. She brought her envelope with a wad of dollar bills and her coin purse filled with quarters. Yes, she paid us for performing. At first, $1, and eventually raised it to $2 with extra quarters for an encore. It was a family tradition that we treasured. Weddings and bar and bat mitzvahs were special occasions to celebrate with my parents because they loved to dance and were quite good at it. They were noticed on the dance floor. Even at age 90, while at my niece's wedding, they were out there dancing away. People noticed and made comments to me about how great they were. While my mom created so many fun and special moments for us, she was a strict mom, which was sometimes a bit tough. She said she had to be strict because my dad worked nights and there were 4 of us. So many times her friends would say the nicest things about her. They all really liked her and would go on and on. I didn't always see it because of how tough she could be. I thought, my mom? But as I grew into adulthood, I was able to see it. Growing up, it was always clear to me how much she loved the 4 of us. And as we all married, it was clear how much she loved our spouses too, even though she didn't verbally express it until recently. Instead, she said it through actions. She would go from store to store to pick out the most special birthday card for all of us and sign it with wishes from the heart and decorate it with lots of stickers. It goes without saying she did the same for her grandchildren and great-grandchildren who she dearly loved. Her actions spoke loudly to me. I could go on and on. Just like my mom, she was quite a storyteller, but I'll conclude with just a very short list of a couple other fond memories, which include hours and hours of card playing. Fred and I, my mom and dad, many a Saturday night played hand and foot, and whoever the loser was or the winner put money in an envelope, and when there was enough money, we went out to dinner. Playing piano together. She was my first piano teacher. Surprising us one day, just out of the blue, by bringing a new dog, Ginger, into our home and lives when we were coming with me to the school I taught at 2 times a week for several years to tutor and read with students. They thought they could take advantage of her because she was in her maybe late 70s, but they learned quickly they could not. And most fun of all, that time in, I think it was 1984 or 1985, when my own family moved back in with her and my dad while waiting to get into our new home. And a couple years later, my parents moving in with Fred and me and Erin and Jodi while they waited to get into their new condo. I need to say that during that time, we ate really well. My mom was a great cook, and as everyone knows, she made the best chopped liver. My memories are many, and I'm so lucky to have had my mom for so many years. She was my mom, my best friend, and she will be missed.
We are here together to celebrate the memory of my mom and to reflect on the special place she had in our lives. Our togetherness is her legacy, and today it is our way of honoring her dedication to keeping this family connected. My mom was such a wonderful person. She had a moral compass that always pointed true north. She knew what was important, and her kindness, toughness, integrity, and thoughtfulness came through every day and shaped me into the person that I am. My mom was so loving. She loved her family and friends. She loved parties, music, games, life itself. And of course, she also loved her ice cream. I remember having ice cream lunches together, and we had a dessert party every night while growing up. Even as we got older, she would haul an unbelievable amount of dessert from the freezer after dinner. It was like a Mary Poppins bag in there. And she always insisted that we have something sweet to eat, regardless of how full we might be. I have so many great memories of my mom. I'll never forget our family vacations together. Summer visits to see our cousins in South Haven, Disney World, Hawaii. We all thought it was hilarious to eat Kentucky Fried Chicken while we were actually in Kentucky. She was always on the move, and we could hardly keep up with her while hiking in Mesa Verde during a winter visit to Arizona. So many of my favorite memories also came from our typical everyday moments together. I will miss playing dominoes and cribbage and see her watching over everyone at family parties. I will miss hearing her voice during daily phone calls, asking for her advice, and laughing over stories told at our family dinners. My mom was such a beautiful person inside and out. She made everyone feel so loved. She remembered everything and was so invested in the people in her life. She lived a life full of family and connection, and I will miss her so much. I feel so lucky to have had her in my life, and I am so grateful to be a part of this family that my mom and dad created together.
Two days ago, my cousins and I started a text chat so we can discuss what we should say today. But what can we say about Grandma Harriet? How can we possibly list out all the memories that she gave to us?
Perhaps our favorite memories of Grandma H were just having family dinners, listening to her stories, and sharing silly laughs. We loved spending time with her and Grandpa at their pool, playing endless hours of hand and foot, and listening to her play the piano. Grandma may have been tiny, but she was a force to be reckoned with. At family parties, we would certainly feel the grandma wrath if one of us didn't give her a proper hello or goodbye. As you've heard, she did not always have much of a filter, but there is something to be said about having that kind of pure honesty and always knowing how she felt.
When we went to Grandma's, we could always count on fun, laughter, and more candy than we could ever eat. She loved to feed her grandchildren. We might pretend that we didn't even want dessert, but we always knew that she would give it to us anyway. And she in turn knew that despite our protests, we would always eat it.
Grandma always put family first and wanted to be a part of everything important in our lives. She had a way of making us feel special, of making a big deal out of all of our accomplishments, big and small.
But no matter how insignificant our events may have seemed, she was always there to show us how much she cared and supported us. She went to every single recital, every school play, every birthday, holiday, graduation ceremony. It didn't matter if the occasion was in town or out of town. She just had to go to everything. And the cards on the gifts she gave us at those times were always decked out with stickers. But most important of all, she always made sure that we got our Frosty for Valentine's Day.
Now multiply all of that by 9 grandchildren, and then add in some great-grandchildren and a few grand-dogs, and still Grandma H was always there, always with us throughout a countless number of special occasions.
Grandma, we know how badly you wanted to continue to be there with us at every holiday in the future. We know how much you would have loved to be here with us now, in this room where we're all together talking about you. And we especially know how much you would love to eat all that food with us afterwards.
You've been a part of our lives for so long. You held our family together for so many years. We are so lucky and so grateful. You have always made us proud. We hope we have made you proud.
Grandma, we want you to know that we love you, we miss you, and we will drink a Frosty for you every now and then.
Oh, so beautiful. It's quite precious that when we remark on someone's life in a time of mourning, we can also smile. It is the sign of a life well lived, I think. Harold, 74 years to the love of your life, love at first sight. If I have the story right, when you first met at the USO dance, you did let other people know that she would one day be your wife. Beautiful she was from the inside out. And we know that 74 years is quite a time, and it's still not enough. And now you, her family, and so many friends are here to carry out her legacy. Family. She was the matriarch of your great family, and she wanted to instill how important it is to stick together and to be there for one another, and she modeled that. She also modeled and leaves you a legacy of what it means to be in relationship. Relationships were important to her. She was a woman of integrity. Her word mattered, and so did yours. So now, you pass on to each other and out into the world the importance of doing with and for family, of being in connection with each other, and of living a life of integrity. And in this way, she lives, Harriet lives through you and around us. Harriet was a righteous woman. May her name and her memory be for blessing and for inspiration. We offered Psalm 23 as an offering to the mourners, as a reminder that they are never alone. This next prayer, it's called El Malei Rachamim, is a prayer just for Harriet, that she continue to be received with great tenderness and love. If you're able, please stand. El Malei Rachamim Shochen Bamromim Hametzei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei HaShechina Im Kedoshim Utorim Kezohar Harakia Mazhirim Et Nishmat Harriet Weinstein Shalcha Le'olama Baal Harachamim Yafsireha B'Seiter Kenefav Le'olamim Veitzur B'Tzur HaChaim Et Nishmata Adonai Hu Nachalata B'Tanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkava V'Nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Harriet, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings. Let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. Together we say, Amen.
This does conclude the service in the chapel. The family will be receiving condolences starting today, immediately following the interment at the Amstadter residence, 524 Karen Drive in Buffalo Grove. That'll be from the cemetery throughout this evening, and then Saturday, beginning at 6:30 p.m. That information is on your folders, so if you didn't get one when you entered, please get one when you leave, so you have it, so you can go visit with the family. Interment will take place at Shalom Memorial Park, that's 1700 West Rand Road in Arlington Heights. If you're going in procession, the procession will be forming in the parking lot. Please keep in mind a few safety features while in the procession. Keep your bright headlights on at all times. Put your emergency blinkers on. Attach the orange funeral sticker to the passenger portion of your front windshield, and we'll also attach a flag to the roof of your car. And please stay as close as safety permits to the car in front of you. The following people have been selected to serve as pallbearers. When I call your name, if you please step over to my left. Jordan Sklansky, Alex Moss, Brett Weinstein, Michael Caro, David Caro, Robert Caro, Steve Moss, and Fred Amstadter. At this time, I would ask that everyone please rise as the rabbi, the family, and Mrs. Weinstein are escorted from the chapel. It'll be just a moment. Will the family come this way, please?